All right, welcome back to the Run.down here on the Strickland YouTube channel. And if you listen to this afterwards, the Strickland Podcast Network. Knicks win their sixth straight game, bringing them to 36-27 and bringing them to fifth place in the East with a 109-94 win over the Boston Celtics, the number one seed in the East. Um, yeah, I mean, another great fun game, led by none other than Emmanuel Quickly, who should be rising up everyone's 6 man of the year ballots for sure.
Okay, he should be. He should win it. Like he should win it. There's no argument. There is no argument. Malcolm Brogdon played on the same court as him tonight, and Malcolm Brogdon looked pedestrian. He went 10 of 16, and I could not care less.
Yeah. But yeah, Quickly, he led the way off the bench, 23 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 4 of 7 from three. Hit 5 out of his 6 free throws. Was great defensively. Just was great everywhere on the court. And yeah, him and Josh Hart have formed quite the bench duo tandem, wreaking havoc on both ends, and it's just been super fun to watch. And we are now 6-0 in the Josh Hart era of basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he's been huge. Just to parrot what Tyrese was saying, the difference between Quickly and Brogdon in like their on and off court impact ratings is 12 points per 100 possessions. Like Brogdon plays for the best team in the NBA, and when he plays, the Celtics are worse than the Knicks are when Quickly plays. I don't know what else you need to look at. Like I don't know why. It's 2023. We need to stop sorting this by points per game. Like Quickly he hasn't just been the most impactful bench player. He's legitimately one of the 50 most impactful players in the league. Like we need to stop underselling this. This guy is amazing. He's doing it every night now. Like we said it last stream, this isn't like when the three of us, last March were like, oh, like he was 3 for 10, but man, he's impactful, and he was. I'm not saying we were lying or we were exaggerating. There's levels to this shit though. Like we're not sitting here trying to convince people he's a plus player. Those days are gone. And like the fact that there are still Knicks fans who are like, yeah, like we were right though. Like they should have prioritized Elfrid Payton and Alec Burks over him. Like Tibbs was right to do that. Like I'm not even gonna make time for that anymore. Those days are gone. Like he is one of the 50 to 60 most impactful players in the NBA today. And every stat backs it up. I saw somebody had a great tweet today. They were like, every single time you see one of those weird lists or charts, Quickly is popping off on it. This isn't just like one weird stat that's like, oh, Quickly is actually really way better than people think. Every single impact metric loves him. There is not a single one that's like, maybe he's not as good as you think he is. Again, those days are done. He's not like a sneaky good player anymore. He's fucking amazing. Start appreciating this guy. He was best player on the court tonight, on the court with Jason Tatum, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle. That's ridiculous. He was awesome.
Yep, he is awesome, and we should cherish him more. I love Emmanuel Quickly. I'm just gonna wax poetic really quickly. No pun intended. I think to see what this guy has become in such a quick amount of time is incredible. Like he came in, like the draft evals were like, no, he's gonna be like a solid defender, but like we've all heard about the Lou Williams comps, the the bench god, microwave scorer, whatever. He is a legitimate 3-level scorer now. I think we can
Did Tyrese go in the Matrix, Sam?
I think so.
I'll just pick up where he was talking about. Like, he is a 3-level scorer, and I agree with Tyrese completely about that. But the funniest part about it is people spent so long trying to pigeonhole him into that role that they miss the forest for the trees because he's scoring at an elite level right now. He's approaching 60% true shooting. Quickly is, but scoring has never been his best attribute, and it still isn't. He's the best defender on the team right now. He's not the best one-on-one defender. Quentin Grimes is the guy you want to be on the ball right now. As good as Quickly is, he's not Quentin Grimes. But everything that Quickly does, and obviously he's not the rim protector that Mitch is, but between communicating, the free safety, all the little nuances of his game, like just I could literally make a 50-post thread on this game alone. If somebody beats their man off the dribble, Quickly is there to hedge every single time. If Quickly's on the court and you're a ball handler and you beat your guy off the dribble, I don't care if Quickly's on the weak side. He's making sure that you don't have a free path to the paint. And the reason he does that is because he knows he can recover on his man every single time. His defense he's just such a good and smart defender. He's so, for lack of a better word, high IQ. And he has the physical tools to match it. And so what Tyrese is getting at is that people always tried to pigeonhole him as this, like Tyrese said, microwave scorer. But he's actually finally scoring like what people thought he was going to do his whole career. Like, he just put up 23 points on one of the best defenses in the league. I'm like, how many shots do you have? 12? 13 shots. 13. 23 points on 13 shots. Dude is a complete player now, finally. Like, the only thing that was keeping him from being a complete player last year was being a plus scorer. And now he's that. Tyrese, you cut out there for a little bit, so I tried to pick up, but keep going with what you were going.
Sorry about that. But yeah, like, it's just great to see a testament to Knicks development, which how many times have you been able to say that the last 2 decades, you know? The guy's just fucking incredible, man. Like, I literally love watching this dude play basketball. Like, he just does everything. He wears so many hats for this team. Like, you need him to be a low usage spot up shooter. He can do that. You need him to like take usage and run offense. He can do that defensively. If you need him to be like that one-on-one defender, he can. Point of attack defender, he can. Like, hell, if you ask him to rim protect, I'm pretty sure he'll figure it out. Like, he's just so good at everything and nothing phases him. The guy just makes shit work. And it's like, I can't wait to just, like, that extension this offseason is going to be so beautiful to watch. Like, it's going to be like a culmination of just like a lot of feelings and a lot of like goodwill, you know?
So since you guys laughed at me last time, and since I'm apparently probably going to end up having to sing some stupid ass karaoke on here, does Quickly get 4 for 70?
Quickly's getting 4 for 80. I think Quickly's probably going to get like Brogdon money around it. Like, I think Brogdon's have 4 for 85. I think Quickly probably gets like 4 for 80. If not, like, maybe like the floor is 4 for 72. So like 18 million per, but like I wouldn't be surprised if you got like maybe middle of that, like 4 for 75, 4 for 77 with like incentives.
I don't know as much about contracts. Does Quickly not become eligible for an extension until this summer, or in theory could the Knicks have just, is he in the Brunson spot where they could have just offered him I know Brunson was a second round pick, so it's technically different, but could the Knicks have offered him an extension like right now if they wanted to?
No, you have to wait. For first round picks, it's after the 3rd season. You can offer an extension, and so yeah, like so this upcoming offseason is the first time they can offer the extension. For second round picks, it's the same thing where it's like a year before you hit free agency, you're able to extend.
I just want to say, because I don't think we're going to talk about him very much, and you talking about extensions reminded me of him. Man, this gonna sound so corny, and like I'm sure I'll get some pushback for it. I'm so proud of Obi Toppin. Like, those second half minutes he gave the team were huge. He got 2 huge offensive rebounds. He hit that corner 3 to stop the Celtics bleeding, and he had that amazing dunk. This guy is in as non-conducive an environment to succeed as any player can be in. This team is not trying to accentuate his strengths. They're not trying to feature him. They're basically just saying, go out there and do the opposite of what we know you're good at, because this is what we think a power forward who's not Julius Randle should do. And he just finds a way to make it work. Like, with his skill set, he should be a less valuable player in this role. He just should. He should be hurting the Knicks because he's not a good excuse me. I actually think he is a good shooter, but like he's a really streaky shooter, and someone like that on low volume who's not really allowed to get their feet wet, there's a ton of volatility involved in that, and it's easy to hurt the team when all you're allowed to do is take a three or two every night. But he just finds a way to stay involved. Like he was so good tonight. His attitude is so good. This could be the last season we ever get to see him play. Like I could see the Knicks trading him this summer, and it kind of bums. I just hope we don't put him in like the Knox Frank conversation, because to me this is such a different animal. And I hope we can find a way to appreciate the fact that for 3 years he really wasn't given a chance, and he never complained. He always gave his best effort, and he helped the Knicks win tonight. I really thought he did a great job on the court tonight.
Yeah. I especially have been very critical of Obi Toppin, but I also understand that like the role we placed him in, we've done him no favors. He does not get any opportunities to roll to the basket. He does not get any opportunities to do stuff inside the arc. He rarely gets on ball reps. He doesn't even get reps as like a connecting passer. Like he's had to find those reps and make those reps his own. Like it's not part of our offense. Our offense is literally we deprioritize ball movement, and we are very much about like we're letting guys cook. It's the he turn, my turn, we turn offense. And somehow Obi Toppin has managed to be a positive player in this offense for 3 years straight. Even his rookie year when he could not dribble the side of the basketball and he looked scared to touch the ball. So like the fact that the growth that he's shown from now, where he's confidently pulling from 28 feet. He missed it tonight, but like Obi Toppin rookie year doesn't do that. The fact that he's confidently pulling from 28 feet, and on the season he's probably shooting 35%, and he's had some major slumps in between that. Like that guy deserves a lot of credit, and they probably will trade him at the draft. I just kind of feel like they know their offers, and I feel like they're going to weigh their options and probably move them. But like that guy is he's going to be in the league for a while. And I think that as Knicks fans, when he does like perform on his new team, and I do think that I don't think he's going to be a star or anything like that, but I think he'll be like a solid player. And ultimately speaking, like that's again credit to the Knicks for being able to identify a solid player. The Knicks haven't done that a lot in their the last 20 years. So like he deserves his flowers. They just won't be in this team, and it stings a little bit, but it's also like I think it's best for both parties. But he deserves credit tonight for what he's done.
Yep,
definitely. Credit to the Knicks. I will say this: credit to the Knicks tonight. In past, we have seen this team absolutely fold when faced with pressure, when they had large leads. They started out this game in the first quarter, I believe. They were up by as much, I want to say, as 12 or 14 in the first quarter. And from then on, I mean, the lead never really shrinked past, I want to say, 9 or 8 points. And the team never really like looked like they were going to falter. And we've seen this team this season alone, a couple weeks ago, maybe even, we've seen this team give up leads constantly. So the fact that they've been able to, come back from leads in games as of recently, and then be able to hold a lead against a really good team in the Celtics is a credit to, how far they've come, and, how far they, how
We'll let this guy on the pod, man.
I let myself on.
He has access.
Yeah. Fuck you.
But yeah, I mean, that's just a credit to the Knicks, how far they've come, how good they've become, and it's just a credit to how far they can continue to go with how well they've been playing and how they've been able to secure these leads and not look back. So yeah, I just thought that was something that I wanted to point out, because that's something that's been a stark change with this team. So I didn't think we'd come to the point where the Knicks are not giving up leads.
100%. That's the second game in a row that we've just run and hide, run and hit. Excuse me. that's like, to your point, Sam, that's not something that we've ever been used to. Like I assume most Knicks fans were waiting for when the Celtics would just randomly start hitting shots. And, I said it on the Strickland account. We'll probably never see the Celtics shoot that bad again. Like a 15-point win against the Celtics is awesome. Like that, they're a really good team. But it's not like the Knicks should come away from this and be like, content. You got to keep growing and you got to keep evolving, because the Celtics, they're not going to play this bad again against the Knicks. They're going to come out next Monday and they're going to be as hungry as fuck. Like that's going to be the hardest game we play in the season probably. And the Knicks have to be better. They just do. Like, I know that's weird to say after a 15-point game, but this is the time when having Thibodeau is huge. It's always been, an incredibly nuanced conversation, but there's no way Thibodeau will ever let them be satisfied with this win. And he'll make sure that they don't rest on their laurels. What did you think of the game, Schwen? Is he on mute?
Schwinn, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. It cut out for a second. What did you ask me something?
I just said, what did you think of the game, Schwen?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the Knicks were really good. I know that Boston didn't shoot well. I also just don't think they got this wasn't like they were lining up open threes and just breaking them. I thought most of the threes they got were contested. The open ones they got even were like ones where Brunson would go under maybe, or somebody would go under a screen and get caught. It was not like dribble penetration, swing, open three. Those are the threes you really don't want to give up. They didn't give up much of those. I thought that I'll say this. Our front court is significantly more athletic than theirs. I think Mitchell Robinson looks. I haven't watched the Celtics a shit ton this year because they're good. So I'm not going to watch the Celtics when they're good. Fuck them. But he does not look like he's back to what he was before he got hurt last year. Even during the playoffs when he was playing hurt, he did not look like the same type of athlete today. I know he had that nice block on Brunson on the perimeter, but aside from that, I mean, did he do anything on the offensive glass today? I feel like he was just such a non-factor throughout the game offensively. And defensively, I mean, he was fine, I guess, but he kind of doesn't matter against us that much against other than RJ. I don't think he impacts he doesn't impact Randall's shot creation, Brunson's, Quickly's. It's kind of weird. But I think we're a weird matchup for them. Their front court does not match up well with ours. Horford is, bless his 78-year-old heart, he's just not going to be able to compete with Julius Randle in this type of form. It's just not possible. And they're fucking bench bigs. Muscala's fine. He's a nice little pickup, but he's not. I mean, if you're depending on Mike Muscala in the playoffs, probably not great. Luke Cornett cannot play against our front court. And Sam Hauser's a dude. He's out there sometimes. I don't know what else to really say. Yeah, Blake Griffin, back in his day, maybe not so much this version of Blake Griffin, but I'm not. This is not. I don't want to be very clear. This is not a criticism of Randall at all tonight. But I thought Obi should have played more tonight because when he was on the floor, you could just see him zipping around. They could not keep up with him. They had they just couldn't do it. And he didn't have some outsized impact in the game, but it just stood out so much how much more athletic we are than them in the front court. Now, obviously, you get Jaylen Brown back in the mix. That makes them more athletic than us on the wings. Maybe that I would still say that Jason Tatum is the best player in a potential series, but I don't think we're a fun matchup for them. And I don't really think we're a fun matchup for anybody. This is, Tibbs's weird, reluctance to ever go 5 out in any scenario aside. I mean, and even with that, how many teams are actually equipped to do that? How, honestly, how many? Maybe Milwaukee and maybe Boston, but even with Boston, again, I just think they give up so much on the offensive glass if they go with one of their 5 out lineups that it's not necessarily tenable for them. So the
thing is though, Schwinn, and I agree with almost everything you said. So this isn't really pushback. I think the Celtics are.
They do smell.
Yeah, they're a really intelligent team. And if they realize what you just pointed out, that like it doesn't matter if they have Robert Williams on the court or not, like we're too big for them. They're just gonna full on embrace going small and try to win that way.
I would be fine with that though. Like I don't think they can win that way. I think that's a curveball. That's a curveball, and that'll work for 5-6 minute stretches. But if you're like they already spam fucking 73s a game whenever they shoot. So going 5 out isn't really going to be some like, oh my god, how do we do that? Like how can we possibly defend this now? And honestly, I'll say this, like we've played them 3 times this year. I thought all 3 games were competitive. Even the first game where they shot 20, they made 27 threes. That was a competitive game most of the way through. They just pulled away at the very end. We've beat them twice in a row. Like we didn't have Mitch in the last round. I know they didn't have Smart. I would say Mitch is a bigger loss for us than Smart is for them. And like it did not look to me. It has not looked like to me in any of those 3 matchups that they are beating us in any like this is not like when you play against Giannis and you're just like, well, okay, well I have no idea what to do with this fucking 7'1" alien who like can just move in all kinds of different ways. But like, you know, I think with the Celtics, like they don't have that. Like they don't have these guys. You're just like, how the hell do we possibly match up with this guy? Like Tatum, when he has a runway, sure he can get up there and like you're like, holy shit. But and Brown's, you know, obviously he can get up there too. But like I don't know, they just don't really scare me that much. And I know that's crazy to say considering what are they like 44 and 18 now or whatever. But I just like I think the NBA is just this is a very weird year. Like this is one of the weirdest years I've ever seen. The parity is crazy across the board, and like I just think the Knicks are a bad matchup for a lot of teams, man. Like how many teams? Like you look at the way that the league had skewed before this season, and so many teams' strategy is like, you know, it's like they didn't care about offensive rebounding, right? And it was just like we'll punt on offensive rebounding, spread the floor, take a bunch of threes, play small, wings. Like these are the things that were being like that are largely been prioritized. And I just think the Knicks are just this weird zag where it's like, okay, well, we're not gonna move the ball. We're gonna play this like super ISO heavy style. We're gonna play pretty slow. But what we're gonna do is we have Jalen Brunson, who I know tonight he didn't have a great night, but like he is a great gifted offensive ISO scorer. We're going to have Julius Randle, who apparently is amazing again. And again, like even with Randle tonight, I don't think Randle played a great game, but like what the Knicks do is every single night, no matter who you are, they are going to beat the shit out of you on the glass. They're just going to. And if you win that battle every night and you don't turn the ball over every night, and then you add a Josh Hart who just exacerbates those advantages even more, like it's not a fun team to play against. And I just don't think there are a lot of teams that are like, that can flip the math on them in those, at least in those categories. Like there are teams that can obviously just get threes up. Like Boston can do that, you know, like to your point, if Boston was hot, you can't really do anything, but that's what it is. Like you can't really do anything. You just have to live with that. So I think the Knicks, like what they do, they can do that every single game. They can win the offensive glass every single game. They can win the rebounding battle every single game, and they cannot turn the ball over every single game. Those are things that are like consistent game to game. This is not 3-point shooting. This is not, you know, crazy like levels of insane shot making like that fucking Kings Clippers game last week or whatever. These are very stable factors that they're controlling, and they control it every single game. It just makes them a really tough opponent to play.
And to your point, Schwinn, somebody wants to say, oh, I was just saying it, so I don't mean someone critically. Someone wants to say, oh, the Celtics were 9 of 42 from 3 tonight. That's probably not going to happen. Well, guess what? The Celtics and Knicks had the same amount of turnovers, same amount of offensive rebounds tonight. That's probably not going to happen either. You know, like there's an outlier result in the Celtics' favor. Now, I do think the Knicks got a really, really, really nice whistle. I know there was some outlier calls that were crazy that went against the Knicks.
About time we get a good whistle at home.
But like we shot like 20 more free throws than they did. So
I think, but my pushback on that would be like the Celtics haven't had a good whistle all year. Like their shot profile, like you think of their team, like they don't really take a lot of rim attempts. Like who's drawing free throws?
Brogdon's the only guy that gets to the fucking rim.
Yep, they don't get to the rim. Like Smart isn't getting to the rim, and when he's getting to the rim, he's usually passing out. It's Tatum, it's Brown, and then afterwards they just have a bunch of guys who shoot threes, including their bigs. like they don't get free throws. So like when they're complaining about 90 free throws, it's like that's your team. Your entire team is not getting free throws.
I just think shooting 20 more free throws than a team with Jason Tatum, even if what you're saying is true, and I believe it's true, that is a little, I'm just saying that is a little bit of an, say the word again, outlier result.
I agree, but at the same time, like RJ got one free throw this game. Like there's ways to get more free throws for this team.
And like, look, this is just like this is the game that we played against them in January that we won in Boston. Okay, again, no Mitchell Robinson in this game. They shot 23 free throws in the game. We shot 23 free throws in the game. They shot 16 of 46 from three. We shot 13 of 38. Like we've beat them in matchups where things are evenly matched, or I would argue skewed in their favor because we're a better free throw generating team than they are. And so, like, again, I just think we're a bad matchup for them. And I think we're a bad matchup for a lot of teams. Like, like Hartenstein, I didn't think had a good game today at all. But like, and this is where Tibbs being a little bit, I don't want to like rip on Tibbs too much because I think he's doing a pretty decent job right now. But like I wonder, I guess, and there's no way to really prove this. I do wonder sometimes if like there are matchups where Sims might be better suited to play than Hartenstein. I'm not even sure if this is one, but Hartenstein was just so like him and RJ at the start of the fourth quarter. It was like a 2-man wrecking crew trying to give the game back to Boston. But like, I just wonder if Sims could have maybe given us a little bit something there, but like it wasn't a big deal. And you know what? He did a good job of like that. The lead got to 10. And he's like, all right, let's cut the shit. Like, let's get fucking Mitch back in there. They'll throw Brunson in for RJ, and 2 minutes from now, I'm gonna take out Obi and put Randall back in. Like he immediately was just like, okay, like enough's enough. Like let's take this home. But yeah, like again, you go back to that game in January, and like we've played them in games, and managed to even things out, even when some of the statistical battles go in their favor. So again, like I don't know. This is like less me saying Boston's they're a really fucking good team. I just don't fear them, I guess now. Like I think they'd beat us in a series? Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily go into that series being like, well, we got no. Yeah, it's going to be a hard-fought series, and I just don't think that's like one of those series where you're going to be like, well, it was a good season. That's about it. Like, having Brunson just it makes me believe so much more in what we're doing, being able to translate to some degree in the playoffs offensively. And defensively, I'm not worried about this team with Mitch back at all. And also, by the way, RJ played a really shitty offensive game. His defense now for 3 games in a row has been like legit good again. He had a really good play today, I think, to start the second half where they threw a entry pass into Horford. He helped off of Derek White to swipe at the ball from Horford. Horford kind of like juggled it a little bit, and then he kicked it back out to Derek White, and RJ closed out to him really well. And then they had to put up some junk ass shot, but like his activity level on defense has been noticeably better the last 3 games than it was for basically the entire season before that.
Yeah, definitely. That's been very encouraging because like that was like the main sticking point before All-Star break. It was like, holy shit, everything's going well, and it's like, well, RJ's defense is still like pretty shit. So like, what do we do about that? But if he turns that around, it definitely helps the team a bunch. And like even when he has these shitty offensive games, I mean, his ability to just get into the paint really like bends things for the team because like there's moments where like there's lulls and like nothing is going right for the team. As you saw at the end of the second half, he was the single reason why we were able to still maintain that double-digit lead because he was able to get into the paint, make shit happen, when no one else was literally able to do anything. So he still has those opportunities and those moments, even in these shitty games where he's still able to make shit happen and keep us afloat. So, that's also very encouraging. And you're just hoping that he can put all these things together for more consistent stretches because it really makes us a really dominant team when he's able to do that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great
fractured his fucking ankle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
that stretch to end the second quarter, Sam, that was a great point. That was one of the stretches of the game because nothing was working for the Knicks. And Schwinn, to what you said about the start of the fourth quarter, I just want to say I looked it up today. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle average, not ceiling, not average, 31 minutes per game on the court together. That's ridiculous. And it part of it is because they play a lot of minutes. That's fine. Jalen Brunson played 40 minutes tonight. But the reason Jalen Brunson plays 40 minutes is because Tibbs, for better or for worse, he guards against what he's afraid of. He always guards against worst case scenarios that he builds in his mind. And you can tell when the Knicks have a bad possession or two with quickly running the show, he always just goes right back to Brunson because that's his safety blanket. Okay. Has it ever occurred to him that Quickly's life running the show would be a little bit easier if Julius Randle was on the court with him?
One of the things I think about that, actually, and I'll be quite honest, like, I think the biggest issue he's struggling with there is he's got to keep RJ, like, people will take this how they take it. You've got to keep RJ engaged, okay? And part of keeping him engaged is giving him some reps where he's like the man on the floor. And what I ironically think is like the bigger issue with those minutes at this point is that he has to give RJ these primary reps when like Quickly was fucking cooking them today. Like he was absolutely cooking them in those minutes. If all he had done was just like let Quickly do that, I think they'd have been fine. Like look at the possessions where they fucked up, right? It was that ridiculous like it was the right idea, right? RJ drives baseline, then he tries to find somebody on the weak side corner or wing. He didn't read the floor though. He had already decided he was going to do that. Brogdon's already there, so that's a turnover. And then he had the one that really fucking pissed me off was at the end of the third quarter, where RJ like drives from the paint, collapses, and like these are the things that nuke his efficiency and piss the fuck out of me. He drives in the paint, he collapses. Like literally, you've got like 4 Celtics in the fucking paint. Collapse on him. He's got Quickly, who had just buried 2 threes, wide fucking open at the top of the key. Like no, like this motherfucker could have had a sandwich while he was waiting for this shot, and he's just waiting there, and he instead he tries to put up this like crazy finesse floater layup thing, and it rims out, and like they end up scoring on the other. But like those are so when I see those possessions, I'm just like, really, what we ideally need is RJ to play like he did against New Orleans consistently. And I'm not just talking about, forget the shot making. I'm talking about like the decision making. And he did have plays today where he made the extra pass, which is like why I kind of hate burying him for that stretch. But like it can't be a 75% thing. It's got to be there all the time. And if it's not going to be there all the time, guess what? You got to be a better shot maker. So there's only 2 options for him: either become a better shot maker, be more efficient, or make the right play more often, which will naturally raise your efficiency. Because he's not, he's I don't want to say he is hurting you in his minutes right now because of his poor offensive decision making at times. And that's what makes that stretch at the end of the second quarter like both encouraging but also frustrating, because you're like, we know you're capable of not playing like a fucking dumbass, so please just stop playing like a fucking dumbass. And like, you don't need to go out there on the court every fucking night and drop 25 because that's how you prove your contract. You know what will prove your contract? If you just play really fucking well for this team. Because you know what'll happen? We'll probably win every game by 25 fucking points, and nobody's going to be talking about your averages and your shooting splits and whatever. We're just going to be like, man, it's so fun watching this team. Everything is great. This is the best time of my life. Like, just stop being fucking annoying. Like, this is not hard. This really should not be. It's like a fucking layup. This is like one of those layups that even RJ can make. So like,
don't say it's like a layup for RJ. wrong guy.
He would turn into a floater and a brick off the right side.
Yeah, I should have made the joke about a floater, because RJ is actually really good like at the rim. We talked about this last show, Schwinn. But the most frustrating thing about RJ in the regard that you were just speaking about him is there's like an inverse correlation between when RJ plays the right way and his shooting. Like when he's hot, you would expect him to be more selfish, like, oh, I got the hot hand. But like you saw at the end of the second quarter, he gets a couple shots to go, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I know how to make the right plays. But when he doesn't have it going, he's like, okay, the only way to shoot to get out of this slump is to shoot my way out of it. And it's like, no, you can be a winning basketball player if you just mentally play like you're hot all the time and play like the right way, because it's like he's more likely to miss reads when he doesn't have it going, and that compounds on the negativity. It's extremely frustrating, but it's also just extremely confusing. Like, go out of your way to make the right plays when the shot clearly isn't falling. You said it after the Hawks game, Schwinn. You were like, one of your favorite plays of that game was when he was 0 for 6 from 3, and he gets the ball in the wing, and he's, no, fuck that. I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to go to the rim and make the right play. Like, just do that more of the time. I don't understand why he needs to see his shot go in order for him to start being a more all-encompassing player. But when the shot isn't falling, it's like he goes into this tunnel vision mode. That's just so backwards to me.
Yeah, he's a very confusing player.
Yeah, he's just I'm still
he's Canadian.
I'm still pretty okay with where he's at. I think you gotta just he's not playing. He's even no matter how much you like whatever you think about him, he's clearly not playing at a level that you think he would be playing, like that we've seen before, that he's capable of. So I would just it is what it is. He's going through some shit right now, and the Knicks are in the they have options that can replace his production, exceed his production, whatever, and still win basketball games. So I'm good with that.
All right. Before we get into some comments, let's get into everyone's favorite part of these episodes, the ad read. NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hand with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, opt in, and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back. Should I give any? You know what? I'm gonna keep all that to myself.
Did you not have a good parlay today? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, but I will say this: for the next game, just take Emmanuel quickly is over and Knicks money line.
Sam, can I pimp a bet out?
Go ahead.
2 nights ago, Emmanuel quickly was plus 15,000 to win Sixth Man of the Year. Mm-hmm. It's still like plus 7,000. Just get in. Like, if the Knicks get the 4 or the 5 seed, and it's a New York team that people are going to want to put awards. They're going to want to give them some sort of award for overachieving like this. They're not going to give Tibbs Coach of the Year again. Like, Brunson's not winning Most Improved because of Lowry. Lowry's got too big a head start. Like, there's not really much else. What's up?
That's said Andy's white.
That's it.
Yeah. That's a good point. Quickly's going to start getting serious push for Sixth Man of the Year. And the thing is that the analytic, why is Jokic runaway MVP? I'm not saying the media are really smart, but they're at least starting to embrace analytics a little bit more in these advanced statistics, and Quickly blows the field away in all of them.
Yeah, but the Athletic said that Quickly doesn't really impact the team like Malcolm Brogdon does. So
they lose his minutes, man. What are we doing?
Yo, Tyrese, this is when you need to play the "We're Losing Recipes" video.
What? I have to get the my Marvin videos ready. I'm just golly. The argument isn't even close, man. I'm sorry, it's not even close. Emmanuel Quickly literally took Brogdon's lunch money and half of his blackness. I don't know what. I don't know what anybody was watching. Malcolm Brogdon went out there and got emancipated. Like, shout out
Not
to Black History
afraid.
Month. Because he was free. Emmanuel quickly treated him like he was free food. Grew up on the sidewalk. He was Costco. Oh,
Well, Jeff says get in on that Emmanuel Quickly 6-man of the year hype.
Quickly's up to 52.9 EFG and 56.9 true shooting on the season now.
He'll probably get to like 58 true shooting, 59 true shooting, which would be nuts, by the way. That'd be like a good, that's a 5 true shooting jump. Hell.
I mean, he's just, I don't even care about the shooting is obviously great. I do care about that. But like, you just watched that fourth quarter today. So the Celtics were doing this thing. They play this like weird, like, it's like a 2-3 zone, but they're also trapping out of it constantly. It's very odd. But like, he was like, you could see him. He saw the traps. So he was trying to draw the traps, and then he would swing the ball. Like, they had this one possession. I think the one that ended up with the OB corner 3 right after the timeout. If you watch that possession back, like, quickly draws the trap, and then he swings it to Brunson. Brunson swings to Hart. Hart swings it to Obi for an open corner 3. Like, that was all because of Quickly, though. Quickly drew, and like Brunson did a good job of this too. So Brunson just had a very odd game where like he'd play really well, and then he would have these like 5 possessions in a row where he's like, "No, we're just gonna not do anything on offensively until there's 8 seconds left on the shot clock."
The HV possessions.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, just power eye. Just dialing up power eye. Like, it was so weird. The end of that first half, I'm like, are you on crack? Like, at the start of the third quarter, because it was so funny. Because like right, like at halftime, right, they had Papa Brunson interview with what's her name, Rebecca, and he was like, yeah, we got to push the pace a little bit more, and like the first 3 possessions, they're just like power eye, fucking sweep, running back sweep, triple option. I'm like, no, like pick up the pace here a little bit. But he did that fine though too for the most of the game, where like draw the trap, swing. No, the Knicks played like this is the best thing. The Knicks won by 15 today. I don't even think they played like
that well,
particularly great offensive game at all. Like I feel like they actually left a lot on the table. Aside from Quickly and Mitch, I don't think I would say, yeah, and Hart, like, but
Grimes, honestly,
and Obi.
Yeah, but like, okay, Grimes took what 2
guys,
fucking shots.
Let me just finish the ad read.
No, we're done. The ad read's done.
No, I gotta say the code, man. I have to say the code.
TBPN. Go bet IQ.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Download the app now. Sign up with code TBPN. You get $5 and you get 200. You bet $5, you get 200 in bonus bets. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right.
No, but Obi took what 3 shots today. Grimes took 2. 4. I'm pretty sure. These guys played well offensively, but we're talking like, come on, like RJ didn't have a particularly good game offensively. Randall didn't have a particularly good game offensively. Brunson didn't have a particularly good game offensively. Those are your 3 highest usage guys, and you still put up 109 points. You won by 15, and like I don't know what to say. Like that's just an impressive victory in that sense. And I gotta say this, like, because Julius, like, again, just one of the most bizarre, infuriating, weirdly exhilarating players I've ever rooted for. He's like just been good on really good on defense for about a month and a half now. Just like he just decided like, oh yeah, like I should do that too. Like I've been really good on offense, but I'm gonna lock in on defense now too. And he's playing the best defensive ball of his career. Like it's pretty amazing how consistently good now he's been on defense. So yeah, I mean. And yeah, you're right. Grimes does deserve a lot of credit. His defense today was fucking awesome, by the way, on Tatum. Like really fucking good. Him and Hart did a good job at him, but I thought Grimes really, he fucked him up at the start of each half.
And Randall, you brought it up multiple times, Schwinn, so I have to say it. Like those swings. Randall missed Grimes on a couple of them. Like he just doesn't ever make those swing passes ever. But I have to give a shout out. Grimes did hit a corner 3 tonight off of a Julius Randle hockey assist where he had the ball on the wing or in the corner, whatever you want to call it. Yep. And a double was coming. And rather than wait for both guys to literally be right next to him like he does 95% of the time, he anticipates the double and throws the pass to Brunson at the top of the key, who swings the pass for the swing. That all started because Randall drew the scramble and then rather than waiting for it, started the passing early. That is the type of anticipation and processing we need to see more from him. That was an awesome play. One of my favorite plays, like boring plays that he's made. And it just makes the, like we were talking about with RJ earlier, and obviously they're not the same because Randall's way better, all-star player, deserving all-star, but it just makes the times he doesn't make those, swing passes all the more frustrating because he's capable of it.
Okay, Schwinn, I have a theory, and I want you to tell me how this sounds. Watching Julius Randle play basketball is the equivalent of dating a Dominican woman in New York City.
I can't say that I've had the experience, but I'll take your word for it, Tyrese.
I'm gonna tweet that, and I want people to tell me if they agree or not.
No, I think I just think Randall is like, you can see it, like he's like visibly. It was annoying at the start of the year when they kept like on every broadcast they'd be like he's smiling, he's
meditating, he's
but
doing
he is in a better place mentally. That makes a difference.
It definitely does. It definitely helps that he's not booing the fans and giving us a thumbs down and all that shit. Jordan Bell with this interesting comment. The Knicks now have 36 wins. Only one team in the Western Conference has more than 36 wins, the Denver Nuggets. From Knicks Muse. That's very interesting. I mean, that just shows, I guess, the difference in the conferences, how much of a dogfight, I guess, either the East or the West is. I mean, depending on how you look at it.
The West
to be fair, it's a little misleading because the Grizzlies have 36 wins, but 4 fewer losses. But sorry, I'm not trying to take away from your point, but
the Grizzlies also suck ass. So
I agree. I'm not a fan. I'm just saying.
No, but I think the Western Conference is an undercard, and the Eastern Conference is the main event. Yeah, the West sucks, dude. I'm sorry.
It does this year. I mean, yeah, it really does. I mean, the fact that the 13th seed has a chance to jump up to 4th or something in the West is kind of insane to me. But yeah, I mean, the other day on the broadcast, they were like, Phoenix is its 4th, but a couple losses and they can jump all the way down to 13. It's what the hell is going on over there? It's
oh wow,
that's insane.
The great Pelicans dropped to 30 and 32 today. Very sad.
Shout out to David Griffin.
To see. He deserves this. David Griffin deserves this.
Well, he's working with Satan to get all those lottery rigs, so
I mean, they really do though, because
his luck had to run out eventually.
Can you imagine if the Pelicans had this Knicks season with this Knicks roster? They wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. Everybody would be talking about.
I mean, they didn't shut up. They didn't shut up after the 6-game series with the Suns last year.
Yeah,
everyone was like, "Oh my god, add Zion to this," and it's championship aspirations.
Trey Murphy is not good defensively. That's people need to stop calling him a 3-and-D guy. He's a 3 guy.
If they could merge Trey Murphy's offense with Herb Jones's defense, that'd be a pretty good player.
You'd have.
Hey, Herb Jones went 3 of 9 for 10 points tonight, so relax. All right. Real fucking explosion from Herb Jones, who the Knicks should kill themselves for not drafting. No, I just, it's really funny, looking at the way people talk about Trey Murphy and Herb Jones compared to somebody because I think Quentin Grimes is he's what you guys think those guys are. Again, so apparently Grimes actually took 5 shots today, which is amazing. And they all came in the second. It all came in the third quarter because he had 0.
Can you guys explain that to me? Can you guys explain that to me? What does Emmanuel Quickly? I'm genuinely curious because I watch the film all the time and I can't make sense of it because Quentin Grimes is a great mover off the ball. Emmanuel Quickly comes in the game, plays with the same lineup because that's the first sub they always make. It's always Mitch and Grimes or
Hart,
RJ and Grimes for Quickly and Hart. And Grimes today took 0 shots in the first half. Quickly comes in, plays with the same unit, plays the same role that Grimes does, and he'll just immediately get 4 shots. Does he get – they're not all coming because he's initiating more. What is the difference?
Because I think I said this in our Discord today, but I think it's very obvious that Brunson and Randall trust quickly. Then they don't trust Grimes in the same way. I don't think they trust RJ in the same way anymore. Like, it's very obvious that Quickly just has more juice. Also, Quickly, if you watch him off the ball, he's like pretty fucking annoying about like being open. He's like,
Yeah, he makes himself known.
but like that's. I mean, look, that's
he's also really annoying about other people being open too. He has to lead the league in pointing to somebody open. It's so funny to see. Like if anybody's open, he'll point to the ball handler. Like
yeah, I mean, to some extent, like I do think, like I think Grimes should be like more like I'm fucking open, like Julius.
Yeah,
like,
he definitely should
do the wacky inflatable tube man thing, but like, yeah, he's just look. It's fine. He's a second-year player. I think he's still figuring some shit out. It looks like he's getting his legs back again, which is nice to see. Other than that weird ass fucking air ball he had, I think that was a pretty good closeout. I wonder if he just like had to put too much air on it and then didn't adjust like everything about the shot. But he did hit a corner three, which was nice, and that layup he had actually on Horford was fucking filthy. That was really really nice. But yeah, I mean, look, it's pretty clear to me, anyways, that like I don't really give a shit about this argument anymore. Like, who's the Knicks' best young player? But like,
it's like, hey, just enjoy all of them.
Yeah, I don't really care about it, but like, there's a reason why Quickly is playing as much as he is right now, and why it's like I think Tibbs has trusted Quickly more than RJ for a lot of this season. I think you're also seeing now like your two best players kind of. I don't want to say. I mean, their decisions on the court when he's on the court seem to signal like a higher degree of trust in him than they do with necessarily RJ or Grimes. And I think in RJ's case, it's probably because they trust that Quickly is more likely to like swing the ball back or whatever, and that is what it is. So, that's not really like I don't even know if that's a shot at RJ really, because I think like they do need a third guy of that ilk. RJ just has to be better at being that guy. So either way, the Knicks they're doing well. They're doing great.
And Schwinn is in the Matrix. Oh, he's back. Schwinn, are you back?
Yeah, I don't know why. Every time I'm on this, my stream drops randomly, but then it'll be fine again. I don't know. But on like the pods that we do on here, it's fine. It's very.
I think it's because the pods aren't live.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we got a great matchup going into, or we're gonna be at home versus the Nets next game
with the rest advantage. Let's go
with the rest advantage. Versus a Brooklyn squad that has struggled to score. Ever since everyone said they were a really fun team and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, they got like mollywopped by the Bulls the other day, and I feel like they just lost to the Hawks at the buzzer, the team that is towards the bottom of the play-in standings. So yeah, I mean, things are really looking up for us. We have a chance to really make some ground on that 5th seed and maybe even make some ground towards that 4th seed if things really all go our way. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this Nets matchup. Hopefully we can beat them again. I know last time Jalen Brunson put up a nice 40 spot to secure that win. Hopefully we won't have to require such a gallant effort. But yeah, how are we feeling about heading into this next matchup versus the Nets?
7 in a row.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't feel good. Like, it's not even just about how we're beating these teams. It's not about how we're playing. The guys just seem really confident out there. Like, there seems like there's a looseness and a freeness to their game that I just don't remember seeing very often. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how you don't feel good about the Knicks right now. It's great. It's a really good feeling. This is so much better than the 2020. Better might be the wrong word, but like different.
No,
and
better is the absolute right word. It's better.
It's better. It just also feels like more sustainable than the 2021 season.
Yes, no. It is better in that way. I guess I just mean that like because 2020, 2021 was like unsustainable and because it was such a surprise, there is like a fun feeling about that. Like, holy shit, we're like a Cinderella story type thing, you know?
Yeah,
Like that was fun in its own way. But yes, this is just it's better.
Well, this is better because like that year did feel like, okay, we're building something. But like you always knew, right? Like Derrick Rose is not a long-term piece. Like Elfrid Payton is never going to be the guy that we want him to be a point guard. Like I know people loved Reggie Bullock. I was never a Reggie Bullock guy. Like he did really well for us that season, and then I was happy that he went away. That's just that's how I felt.
And as we can see, that is the
like Taj is obviously not. He's not going to be a
choice.
long-term piece.
You say that he's back.
Yeah, Taj is not. Taj is not going to be a long-term piece, and Noel. I don't think. I mean, I know they brought him back, but I don't think any of us was particularly like thrilled about Nerlens Noel's return to the team. But like this year, you're watching a team and you're like, okay, Quickly's 23, Brunson's 26, Randall's 28. He's the oldest guy in the rotation. Mitch is 24, Obi's 24, soon to be 25. I don't know if he's already. RJ's 22. Hart is 27 now. You know, and even guys like, you know, Grimes is 22, but you like other guys, right? Like Deuce and Sims, they're situational, but Deuce is 22. Sims is 24. Like it feels like, okay, like if you told me we ran this team back next year, didn't make any significant moves, I would be like, okay, that's fine. Like I haven't felt like that. Like that, and that's not to say that I would think, oh, if they did that, they'd be a championship team next year. No, but I'm saying like I think they are in a position where actually improving the team is hard. Like I think it's very hard for them to get the necessary improvements they need. Like you can tell me it's easy to improve on RJ, sure, but we're not talking about. I think they already have a base as like a frisky playoff team, right? What we're talking about in terms of upgrading the roster is, can you get a guy that vaults you into genuine contention? And that's why RJ is such a weird player to discuss, because it's like you feel like he's the guy that's supposed to be like, if he became the type of player we're talking, like we think he could become, maybe then you're probably already there. He hasn't done that yet. So look, what you're like, this is why, like, you know, fucking McCall Bridges, OG Anunoby, these guys don't do anything for me. Like, what do they do for me? These guys are just going to come in and be solid NBA players. Like, that's great. They'll make us a better regular season team. I promise you, in the playoffs, they are not moving the needle for you in the way you need the needle to be moved. And they will never have the potential to, next to Brunson and Randall. They just are not the guys to do that. RJ might not be the guy either.
I feel like you should separate OG and McCall there. I agree. I agree with you that McCall is close to his ceiling, but McCall's a really, really fucking good player, and he'd be a really good third option next to Brunson and Randall.
If McCall is your third option, you're not winning. You're just not. Like, you don't have enough offensive shot creation, especially if Randall and Brunson are your number 1 and 2. Not possible. I'm sorry. Like, as good as Randall and Brunson are, they are not going to be number 1 and 2 options on a championship team. Not possible. Not fucking.
Yeah,
possible.
that's a different conversation. But like,
so what does it do for me if I trade RJ for?
I mean, McCall Bridges has already been the third option on a team that was title favorites back-to-back years. So
little Mickey Mouse Western Conference run that got snuffed out by Giannis in the finals.
So.
Okay, yeah. But...
Wait, Tyrese, what did you say?
I said Brunson was already the number 2 option on the Western Conference finals. Like,
right, and that's the perfect role for him. That's the perfect role for him. Like, number 2 option on a contender for Brunson, I can definitely see that. Number 3 option for this version of Randall that's defending like this, 100%. I can see that. I can definitely see that. He'd have to buy in. And, like, I do think if you get a player of the caliber you ultimately need to be the number 1 guy, I do think Julius would buy in. Like, I do buy that now, seeing how he's played with Brunson. But, like, I'm not really interested in, like, oh, let's trade RJ for guys that are really good analytics darlings because they stand in the corner and can't dribble and shoot threes and, like, play solid defense. Like, cool, dude. That's great. We got Josh Hart, who's apparently the greatest three-point shooter ever now. And, like, we got Emmanuel Quickly and we have Quentin Grimes. Like, I don't need more of those fucking guys. We have plenty of those guys. And Quickly obviously can do more than just stand in the corner and spot up. But, like, we need a different level of talent to get to the level we're talking about. We're not, like, swapping RJ for McCall Bridges. Yeah, you're going to win 5, 6, 7 more regular season games this season, maybe, but doing that. And I would not feel any fucking different about what this team's capable of in the playoffs. I really wouldn't. Because I think, and I'll just say this flat out, I think Mikal Bridges is one of the most overrated defenders in the NBA. Who the fuck is he locked up? Tell me a guy he's locked up. I want to know. Because last year I saw Brandon Ingram fucking serve him fucking constantly, game after game after game after game. That's Brandon Ingram. So we're not even talking about like, fucking Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, whatever. Keep going. Like there's so many guys. Like he's not that type of defender. He's a really good team defender. He's got his moments on ball. He's got a long wingspan so he can get deflections and shit. Cool, dude. I don't give a fuck about Mikal Bridges. He can have fun being the face of the fucking bullshit franchise in Brooklyn and go fuck himself.
It's a little much.
What does Mikal Bridges do to you, dude?
Fuck Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, like what? My God, like did Mikal like kill a family member or something?
Yo, I think he's an incredibly annoying player. Like this guy fucking runs his mouth all the time. I'm like, you're a 15-point per game scorer who does nothing off the dribble, doesn't create anything unless you're playing the Miami Heat randomly the night before a fucking All-Star break. Get the fuck out of here. He's always chirping the other team's bench. Fuck you. You're not good enough to chirp at the other team's bench. Fuck out of here, dude.
Man, I feel like I've never noticed this at all, and I've like watched a bunch of him. That's wild. I'm definitely gonna start looking for it now. Though.
Oh man! All right, JL asks 14-5 to win 50 games. Can they do it? I say. You said pull up the schedule.
I don't see why they can't. They have the 18th easiest schedule remaining.
I say why not?
Wait, the Knicks have the 18th easiest schedule now left?
After tonight, yeah.
After this week,
so
the schedule is
let's go through it.
They got Nets Wednesday, Friday Heat, Celtics Sunday, Hornets Tuesday, and we have the Kings on March 9th.
I think they can go 3-1 over that stretch, over the Brooklyn, Miami, Boston, Charlotte stretch. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah,
I think they can go 3-1. I'm gonna go 2-2. That Knicks Heat game feels like one of those annoying close. It just feels like an annoying close loss. I feel like Miami's not as bad as they played during that 4-game losing streak. I do think they're worse than us, but I still think Spo's a better coach than Tibbs, and I feel like at home that's one that I feel like he gets that one for them. And then I think Boston beats us on Sunday.
After the Hornets game, we do have a 4-game Western road swing. Kings, Clippers, Lakers, Blazers.
I don't see a reason why they can't go 3-1, if not 2-2. Bron's out, so I don't care about the Lakers.
Fair.
I think the only team they should have beat the Clippers at the Garden. I think they're flat. I think they're better than the Clippers, which is insane.
Especially now with Russ.
Yeah, I mean it's just insane to say that. Like,
and he loves playing like Marcus Morris a ton, who absolutely fucking sucks now.
Yeah, he does. And the Blazers might be embracing the tank by that point.
Yeah,
Dame might have a rest day, so
he might.
Dame again, Cam Reddish revenge game, so we'll see what happens there.
I hope so. I'm praying.
After the Blazers, we got Nuggets and Timberwolves at home. Then we play the Heat in South Beach on March 22nd.
Yeah, I don't see 5 losses the rest of the schedule. I'm sorry.
Then we play the Magic.
Let's God, why do I always have to be the dick? There are clearly 5 losses on the schedule. It's like
I don't know. I don't know.
Here. What do you mean? They can still just lose a game. Like
they can, but like the way they're rolling right now, it's like really like tough to like say like which team. Like the one I'm really confident that we might lose is probably the Nuggets, maybe at home. That seems like it's a Sunday matinee, it might be, or a Saturday matinee.
We're losing that one, but like otherwise,
I mean, we have 2 at Miami. We've got at Boston.
We might lose one of them.
Okay, 2 at Miami, at Boston, at Cleveland, and the Nuggets. There's
Cleveland
5 left.
doesn't scare me at all. Every single matchup
yeah.
we've played them pretty well. The only time they beat us was when they went absolutely nuclear from 3.
I mean, look, I hope you're right. I'm just saying, like, we've really, really stepped on the accelerator.
I mean,
here,
we
and I
play
wanna
the
be- I'm
Magic,
here
the
for it.
Rockets, the Wizards, and the Pacers and Pelicans a bunch. Those are plenty of games to like gain a whole bunch of momentum to put to the point where those games against the Cavs don't really like mean much.
Matter. Yeah, like literally, you have a stretch where you play, the Magic, the Rockets, and then you play the Wizards, Pacers, Pelicans, and then the Pacers again to end the season. So like,
And the
and
Cavs
then-
and Heat are sandwiched right in between them. That's perfect.
and this team is
momentum
peaking.
building.
This team is peaking right now. I think you kind of have to ride the wave, and I do feel like them beating the Celtics. I told you, I said if they won this game against the Celtics, I felt like they swept the week. Because like this just feels like such a game where it just kind of feels like, okay, now we've really like made that leap. And I'm sorry, the Heat can't score. The Heat cannot score, and I like their defense, but I also like our defense. And Bam Adebayo has looked like a shell of himself since he went to Utah.
He did block Embiid today.
Wow, I mean, Embiid fucking sucks. Who cares? To make that dude a playmaker, and he turns to a fucking idiot. Like that dude can. Oh my god, I'm gonna pass it to turnover. Like
Is this like when I say Kevin Durant sucks? Like where he doesn't suck, but like
You say it just to make yourself feel a little bit better.
no, you just say because you hate that fucking guy.
Embiid is great until the second round of the playoffs start.
Yes, this is like good. Like this is like your inner hater coming out basically.
Exactly. So like he's a quote unquote good player, but like
quote unquote good player.
like
I don't even give players I hate that type of like praise. Like
technically speaking, he fits the criteria of being a good player.
Some people believe Joel Embiid is a good player. I'm not one of those people.
I'm telling you, the second round of the playoffs is going to come. The Celtics are going to have him in a chokehold.
Oh yeah, no, the Celtics own them. The Celtics fucking own them.
And the Bucks are going to like you just make Joel Embiid a playmaker, and that dude is going to look like a deer in the headlights. Like I don't care about Joel Embiid. I'm sorry.
Can we just say real quick? I don't know if you guys talked about this before I got here, but like Mitchell Robinson's first, what was it? I don't know if it was the first quarter. If it was the first quarter,
quarter.
That was like
insane.
That was insane. That was. I mean, that's like that. I mean, that's like defensive player of the year level caliber stuff that we saw from that quarter. What I think he had 2 steals in that quarter. I mean, he was just fucking out of his mind.
Block on Tatum was absolutely nuts. And then to follow it up with what was it, like a putback or a lob or something? I forgot what was the play. There were so many different plays that Mitch Robinson was involved in that were just absolutely amazing tonight. But yeah, I mean, this is like what people are talking about, like when we talk about like missing Mitch, like when he's totally locked in, like this is why the Knicks like defense really kind of faltered while he was out, because like we needed someone to make these type of dynamic plays, and we just didn't have it. And here he is back again, and he joined at the perfect time because we got him and Josh Hart back. That's like a double trade acquisition almost, and they've been absolutely insane. And that's why I feel so confident in this latter stretch of the season to get 50 wins, because like in some of these matchups, like against some of these teams that we've played before that we're going to play again, we didn't have Mitch. Like we didn't have Mitch in the Nets matchup that we had before, or the Heat game, or the Cavs, or some of these Cavs games. Now that we're having Mitch back, I feel very confident. And with the acquisition of Josh Hart, it just makes it that much more, potent, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like really weird because I love that the Knicks are good, but it's funny like thinking because like I feel like every time I talk about them now, I'm just like, yeah, it's so fun, they're great. Like that's it. Like I don't really have much to say. It's really great. They're great.
Me and Jeff the other day after the post game, we were talking about like how weird it is like to like do these post games now, and we're just like talking about all this positive shit about the Knicks. Like after like what we started the post games doing last year, Like last year, we were doing the post games during like the 3-17 stretch, and like all the blown leads, and like we'd come on here so miserable. So like it's such a stark difference. It's like, what do we even talk about now? It's like we're talking about all this positive shit, but like, yeah.
I mean, you got to say too, like Tibbs, like I don't, especially the last like month or so. I don't know what's happened. I do feel like he's getting more input from
Jesus moment.
Yeah, I do think he's getting more. He's taking on more input from Johnny Bryant or something, because his in-game decisions now are like significantly better. Significantly better.
He got a lot of thing at home, telling him what to do.
No, he
what?
What? Tibbs is literally like not interested in that. Tibbs only wants like
he like
doesn't
barfs at the sound of like women.
Tibbs goes from like he left Madison Square Garden today and went straight to Tarrytown. Like he doesn't go home. He doesn't go home, dude. Like Tarrytown is his home. But like he's like even the small stuff today, like right where like he pulled RJ. I think what was that? It was like 2 or 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. He was just like immediately like, yeah, like nope, get Brunson back in there. And yeah, you can say like he's stretching Brunson's minutes too much. That's reasonable, but like, you know, even like his willingness to just be like, well, RJ doesn't have it tonight. I'm closing with Quickly and Hart, or I'll close with Quickly and Grimes, or I'll close. Like his willingness to make those decisions are so far and away from like the shit we saw from him for 2 years, right? Where you're like, why are we doing this again? Why is Kemba Walker back in the game? Why is Kemba Walker starting again? Like he's not making these idiotic decisions anymore. And I think his end game decision making has been a lot better. Like, you know, just in terms of like fouling up to, you know, just those are like that's like a very small example, but it's just
he used his challenge tonight.
Yeah, and it was a good challenge. By the way, that was most absurd. Like,
dog.
I've never seen a tech on that. I've never seen a tech.
They gave him a tech for him getting fouled.
And why was Clyde like so horny for that to be a foul on Brunson? His first reaction when he saw the replay was like, "Oh, but Mike, look, Brunson kicked his leg out." I'm like, how is that the first thing you fucking noticed, dude?
He tries too hard to be objective. And it's like, dude, like you're a former Knicks point guard. You can root for the Knicks, dog. It's okay. Like you can do that.
Maybe he's worried Brunson's coming for the number 1 spot.
Hey, I mean, he gets a championship.
He's gonna start being like.
To your point about Tibbs, Schwinn, his non-Brunson Randall staggering has gotten so much better too.
Way better.
A couple examples from tonight that I noticed. He clearly wanted to get RJ and Grimes back in the game at the end of the first half. Usually when he does that, he waits until some whistle and gets them in together to pull Quickly and Hart from the game. Tonight, he put Grimes in first for Hart, but kept Quickly out there because Quickly was playing well, and then put RJ out a couple minutes after. So there's 2 different lineup combinations three different lineup combinations instead of just 2. And then both halves, the bench unit was doing fine, but because he got Mitch out like halfway through the first and the third,
he could bring him back in, right?
He trickled Mitch back in with the bench unit, which is just a good move because we keep saying it over and over again. This team's biggest strength is its versatility. More lineup combinations is a good thing. Let more people play with one another. He also, one other thing that I really like tonight, he got Obi some minutes with Brunson. Like, you know, I still think that Randall and Brunson need to be staggered even more. But Obi shared the court with Brunson for a couple of minutes, and that's a good thing for him. Like, it's a really good thing for him. I love Quickly as much as anybody. But Obi, like Brunson, is the best, you know, main ball handler on the team, as good as Quickly is. And you're suppressing Obi's ability to contribute by not letting him share the court with Brunson at all. So that was another thing that was good to see. I thought Tibbs coached a great game tonight.
And he did something at the end of the first quarter too. I think he played like he brought Deuce in, right? He brought Deuce in and he brought Obi in, and like I think he didn't have a floor at the very end of the first quarter. Like it was because there's 3.6 seconds left, and so I think he just went to like a small because they had the ball. So I think he just wanted like as many fast guys, but like. He normally wouldn't do that. He took Hartenstein out. I remember he took Hartenstein and Randall out, and I think he brought Deuce and Obi in. It was just it was just very surprising. Yeah, it was just like those are like very small things. They might not move the needle that much, but like Like those are the type of things that show like an awareness of trying to win margins where you can win them as a coach. And that's the shit that he punted on for so long, right? And you're just so like, yeah, like dude, if he's gonna coach like this, like I can deal with a lot of my hangups with the offensive stuff and some of his defensive rigidity because like my bigger issue with rigidity was always it has always been the rotations. It's always been the rotations because you're just like, can we never see this team operate in like a different capacity? Maybe is that like no, we can't do that. And he's doing it now. So yeah, no, he coached a really good game, and I think in general, like I said, I think the last month and a half or so, there's been a definite shift in a lot of his habits as a coach, which is really positive.
Schwinn, we have a very important question for you right here.
Oh, not even close. Grant Williams. Grant Williams is like that guy is like Mikal Bridges. I just don't like, but like he's actually good at basketball. Grant Williams is like a fucking, I mean, he's
potato.
Probably he's like a can of Pringles. Like I mean, that guy.
What's wrong with Pringles?
There's nothing wrong with Pringles. That he looks like a can of them. Like he's just. The guy is just a fucking
man. This guy was whining like hell tonight too. Like my god,
that one he was bitching about with Randall was insane. I'm like, that's the foul. Like I don't really understand.
You're literally like hacking him. Like I don't understand.
I can't stand that guy. That entire shit he had after the finals where he was like, "Oh yeah, we were the better team." I'm like, okay, maybe you were, but I want you to know one thing: like you are not the person to say it. Like you can't say that. I'm sorry.
Right message, wrong messenger.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say that. Like maybe Jaylen Brown could say it. Maybe like Marcus Smart could say it. Like your ass played like 10 minutes a game in that series, and you were fucking garbage. You were absolute garbage. Like shut the fuck up. Like it's cool that you had one game against Milwaukee where they literally were just like, well, we'll just leave him wide open and we'll see what happens. Like that's it. That's our game plan. So congrats on that. But like you fucking suck, and you look like a can of Pringles.
Oh wow, Knicks over 45.5 wins on DraftKings is plus 100.
Okay, I was looking for that and I couldn't find it, but I was like, you guys that sounds like a really good bet though. I don't like. Do you see that? Or did
apparently,
put that in the
apparently Tatum's second tech that was like actually what he said. What he actually said this was the best officiated game I ever played in.
Wow.
Like sarcastically?
I mean, very like he was about to get teed up anyways because if you go back and watch it, he took that three and I think he thought Randall fouled him or whatever, and he gets up and he started like clapping at the ref, and the guy was about to tee him up, but then he saw like we kind of had an advantage, so he let it play. I think he was going to give him the second tech no matter what. I just think he let him play it out, and then he teed it because as soon as that play was over, he basically turned around and teed up Tatum. So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't really care. Like, they weren't going to win that game anyway. And he might have helped. Like, he might have helped us put the game away earlier with the way he was shooting. I mean, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen Jason Tatum play.
He looks so uninterested.
He was terrible. He was like genuinely awful. I don't know what he was doing on offense the entire game.
Tween Hezzy into Brick because Quentin Grimes put him in Alcatraz. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, Grimes really had him in hell. I liked Hart trolling him after the second tech. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Josh
Hart is great at that stuff. He's great at that stuff.
He's a good troll.
He just tweeted too. He was bitching. He's like, "Yo, get that camera off me! Like, let me have some fun on the court."
Yeah, you're in New York now, buddy. There's cameras everywhere. It's not Portland.
Hawkeye 420 says that Clyde is bitter because he had to see ass grace the MSG floor for like 2+ decades. I mean, fair, I guess. But you should appreciate what we're seeing right now. I mean, these are those rare years where the Knicks, give him something worth watching. Yeah. I mean, I think that's all the comments that we can address, unless you guys see any comments that you want to address. We do have this interesting one when we were talking about 2021 versus now. Larry Israel says 2021 we were praying started to hold on until the bench arrived. Not as fun as this team where it's waves of skilled players. definitely. This team definitely has like more, I guess, depth. And just like the depth is like they're all on the same timeline too, as to like what Schwinn's point was earlier, where like we knew guys weren't long-term pieces, and now we have a whole bunch of guys where we're like, we can see these guys being here for longer periods of time just because like they're all on the same timeline. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, honestly, this is exactly what I've always wanted the Knicks to do. Like, just draft players, keep them for a while, see what happens. Like, I don't know. This is pretty fun for me. I'm sure that there's a group of fans somewhere crying that we didn't like tank for Victor Wembanyama this year, which as if that was ever like even possible with the
Adam Silver was never going to allow that to happen. So
Adam Silver sucks.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Harden quickly crossed the 100-minute mark tonight. Playing
together.
Yeah.
What are they, like a plus 7 billion?
What do you think? Let's hear a guess. Somebody
plus. I say plus 35.
Plus 47.
Plus 100.
Are you high?
They're plus 18. They're plus 18.8 for 100 possessions.
Hey, I think you're talking about like net plus. I mean, it feels like plus.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, 18.8 per 100 possessions in 116 minutes. It probably is in the hundreds. Like,
yeah,
that's terrible. They need to pick it up.
Slacking. What are we doing here, man?
I do like the fact that Hart is making threes now is nice. But like he had a couple in the first quarter where he came in and was just like, he was just like he did what he was doing in Portland, right? He did like an open three, pump fake it, and was like, no, fucking, I don't care what he shoots from three. He just has to take those threes. So it's good in the second half that he did that.
And what is he shooting from three? Like what? 11 for not even 11. Like what is it?
12
for 18.
Yeah, something like that.
It's insane.
This comment has me curious, Schwinn. Who is your most hated player? Like Knicks rival, like a Knicks rival who just like drove you crazy. Someone random.
Oh, that drove me like historically.
Yeah, anyone historically.
Oh, this is easy. Fucking Austin Crochet. I absolutely hated that guy. I fucking hated that guy, and I couldn't even tell you why. It's just because he was white and he played on the Pacers.
I was gonna say it's because he's white. Like
he was white and he played on the Pacers and was just like the most Pacers player ever. He's just this fucking doofy ass combo forward.
Oh, his face looks so punchable. I'm just
like, I hate you. I hate this team. You and Reggie Miller and Chris Mullin. What's up?
Jesus,
I cut out there for a second, so I didn't know what you asked me.
Oh no, Sam just said his face.
Looks so punchable.
Oh, he's fucking. I'm telling you, man. Austin Crochet, that guy. I fucking hated his guts. I hated his fucking guts, and I still hate his guts. He's probably like a really nice guy. I have no clue, but I basketball hate the fuck out of that guy. Him, fucking PJ Brown forever for obvious reasons. I absolutely hated the living fuck out of Vashawn Leonard, who played for the Heat. Fuck that guy. Just like a terrible player who happened to be on the Heat, and we played them way too many times. So he became an object of my scorn as a child. Yeah, but like Austin Crochet, though, easily number one. It's not close.
There you go. Good comment, Walt Clyde Frazier.
All right. I guess. All right. I think the last comment we'll close out with is the Knicks are the only team in the Atlantic Division to beat Boston.
Yeah, they're 2-2 they're 2-1 against Boston. They're 1-3 against Toronto, which is annoying. They're
Very
1-2 against Brooklyn, which is also annoying. Hopefully they make that 2-2. They're 2-2 against Philly. Like, if you told me before the season though that they had the potential to go, they could go if they ran the table in the division, what would that be? That would be like would that be 500 basically? They'd be at?
Yeah.
Like, if you told me that before the season, I'd have been like, yep, I'll take that right now. So if they go 500 in the division,
you and Stacy actually did that.
Yeah.
If you recall, Schwinn, in our preseason pod,
yeah,
you and Stacy were like trying to figure out how many games the Knicks were going to win, and you actually went through the divisions. You were like, all right, they're going to play this many games, let's count the wins. That'd be interesting to go back and listen to.
I'm pretty sure I had them I ended up picking them to win like 45 games, even though I definitely didn't think they were going to win 45 games at the start of the year.
Okay, hey Sam, do you still think they're winning 37 games?
Hey,
Just the fuck.
keep expectations low so that way you enjoy moments like now.
Is that what you tell your students? Guys, don't have hope. Because if you
Nope.
don't have hope, that way you can never be disappointed.
I do not tell them that. I do not tell them that.
Isn't that like a Vince Vaughn quote in Dodgeball?
Yeah, it's a dodgeball.
Yeah. Like, I found if you have expectations, you are always disappointed. But if you don't have them,
I only have that motto for the Knicks, man. After what happened last year, after I set my expectations too high, you know,
You might want to have that for your gambling career too.
Jesus.
you don't have to tell.
I
You
feel
don't
like
have
you
to
guys
tell me
roast
twice.
Sam's gambling skill, and he's always winning. Like I've seen him win more parlays this year than anyone in my entire life.
He wins parlays when he doesn't bet the Knicks.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, but that Knicks thing, I'm gonna throw in a same game parlay and I'm gonna win it before Sam does. And I don't even
Well, the thing is, I go for super high odds. That's the thing. I go for like crazy high odds. I don't go for like normal shit,
Yeah.
like normal people.
Yeah, well, we call that as a problem, actually.
No, that's just like going
tell
above
him,
and beyond.
I tell him every post game to just call the number once.
I'm not calling the number.
Just to get a second, just get a second opinion. That's all
I don't need what second opinion. I'm good. I'm good.
That's exactly how they start to sound.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sam's gonna pick up like a second job pretty soon. Why? I just need the extra cash. You know, let's do it.
Look, dude, when I see the OnlyFans link in your bio, that's what I'm
all
gonna
right, all right. I think that's where we're gonna end today's episode off on. Definitely not happening. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. We have had
Sam, can I say one more thing?
Huh?
Can I just say one more thing before you close out? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chris actually makes a really good point here because I saw, I talked to or was interacting with somebody on Twitter today who was basically just like, if you look at preseason expectations, it's clear that Tibbs is actually maximizing the talent on this roster and he's actually squeezing. And I said, the reason expectations were so low is because of Tibbs. So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like the people who were like the reason the Knicks over-under was 40.5, 40.5 is because they won 37 games last year. So like, you add Brunson, you lose Burks. Okay, like that over-under makes sense. But spun another way, this team won 42. Like Pythag had them as a 42-win team last year. And then Randall couldn't be any worse. Quickly, RJ, Obi, and Grimes can all reasonably be assumed to improve somewhat. And then you add Brunson to that. Under reasonable circumstances, this is a 47-win team. Like that is a more reasonable projection. But nobody knew which Tibbs, like how Tibbs would he keep playing Evan Fournier. Like you couldn't just before the season say, oh yeah, he's going to bench Evan Fournier 20 or however many games in the season. Like, oh, Emmanuel Quickly is going to start playing close to 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, and I think to that point, like when I brought that up last year, people like there was just like a lot of pushback to that where it's like, no, well, you didn't have a point guard and this. I'm like, okay, look, all those things can be true if you believe them, but like their point differential is what their point differential was, and they underperformed that. And you could go through our schedule, and there were like 15 games where you would be like, it's not unreasonable to think they could have probably won 5 of these games that they lost. Like, how many blown leads did we see? Like, that Nets one was insane right before All-Star break. Where it's like they're up fucking 28. And you're like, they don't have Kyrie, they don't have KD, they didn't have Ben Simmons never played for them. He still doesn't apparently. But like they and you lose that game. So it's like you look at all that and they clearly underperform their point differential. Then you add a player like Brunson. You bake in development for your younger players, just naturally probably getting better. You assume which I assume I did not assume Randall was going to be back to being like better than ever before, which is crazy. But I did assume like, okay, Randall's back. He's not going to be as bad. Like it's actually impossible for him to be as bad as he was last year. And then Mitch will probably be better just because, he's not coming off an injury, whatever. But even then, because of like, I didn't know how Tibbs would deploy the roster. And then you still had Rose here, which the Rose thing pissed me off because I was like, he just has no role here now. Like Quickly's too good. you sign Jalen Brunson. Why do I care about Derrick Rose? Like, it doesn't matter. So you had Rozier, you had Fournier, and then you had Cam Reddish, who like we were like, is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Like we don't know what the hell's going on here. Just like all kinds of things. But he ultimately and this is the first time he really truly settled on, and he did this pretty quickly for him anyway. Settled on like the proper rotation, and that it's not like a massive coincidence that as soon as he did that, where he was like, okay, I'm going to play quickly more. Cam's never playing, Rose is never playing, Fournier is never playing. Once he did that, the team became good. It's not a coincidence. You got rid of your 3 most negative players and replaced, and you just basically redistributed their minutes all to your better players. So, who cares? They clearly made the right choice. And then now you added Hart, who is he's put this team into he's turbocharged them, right? Like him, and then on top of that, Mitch coming back. It's you literally the only negative player right now in the rotation is RJ, and I truly think this is not like me. The offense is up and down, but the last 3 games, his defense, I think there are really good signs there with him. So if the worst case scenario is we have to deal with RJ being a basket case offensively for the rest of the year, but his defense is solid, this team, and I feel like everybody else is pretty much relatively going to be the same. Hart is not going to keep shooting a bajillion % from 3, but maybe. But this team is, I don't think that, I just think they're really good. And yeah, they're probably better than even a 47 Pythag or anything. There might be, considering the upgrade they've made now in season, I would be surprised if this team, if you, at the end of the day, if you judge from when they made that rotation change to wherever they end up at the end of the season, I would be surprised if they don't end up as a 50+ win pace team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll just have 50 wins to show for it as well.
Yeah. Shout out Robert Cross if he's ever listening to this.
53 wins.
Christopher also said, "Salute to Leon for putting together a team so good. Thomas couldn't even screw this up." Exactly.
Oh, he tried.
On the strength of that alone. Oh yeah, he definitely tried. He tried. He will always try, as Tom Thibodeau loves to do.
I do feel like we're gonna look back, and also because I started the show by saying we should be thankful for Obi. We're gonna look back if this season ends up being meaningful and be really thankful for what Deuce gave us for those 20 games, because that was a big move by Tibbs. For Tibbs to do that, for Tibbs to say, okay, I'm benching Derrick Rose, I'm benching Evan Fournier, and Deuce McBride, you're going to start getting 15 to – and for Deuce to be I'm not going to say he was great. Obviously, he hurt us offensively because he couldn't make a shot. We won his minutes. We crushed his minutes. Look at all the on-off stuff. He definitely wasn't a hindrance. He was helping us. That was – I'm not going to say Deuce turned our season around, but the fact that he was able to just justify that action and sort of force Thibodeau to be a little bit more open-minded about other decisions down the line, that was the first domino. That was, good on him. And this, like Schwinn said, this season's just awesome. It's just really good.
Yep. And we will continue to enjoy the vibes. All right. I think now we can end things off. Shout out to everyone that left a comment. Shout out to everyone that, tuned in. We had 41 plus viewers at one point. So, shout out to everyone. Make sure y'all leave a like. Make sure y'all subscribe if y'all new. We are on our way to 1K subs. So, we just passed 600. All that you do helps us out. Also, check out all the links to everything Strickland related in the description. We got links to the site, merch. We got brand new merch, brand new spring collection. Definitely check that out. We got remixes of some older, stuff like that sweater that Jeff has on right now. We got links to the Patreon. Great ways to support us as well. And we got links to the Twitter. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter. And lastly, we are on Instagram at thestrick.land. Another great way to get your Strickland Knicks fix on social media if you are not on Twitter. So definitely check us out there. We will be back on Wednesday evening after the Nets game. Hopefully the Knicks make it 7 straight and take sole possession of the 5th seed. Shout out to everyone that tuned in. Enjoy your Tuesday and peace out.